All right, Math 1, 2A.7, rotations with graphs. So this one we're rotating. Sometimes we will go clockwise, and sometimes we will go counterclockwise. Think of an old style analog clock. The arms, like if this is noon or 12, it turns this way, right? That is clockwise. So anytime it's going around this way, that's rotating clockwise. We will always be going about the origin, which will make it a lot easier for us. The origin is the middle point there. So let's think about this. Point L is pretty easy to think about rotating, right? We're rotating 9 degrees, so 9 degrees would go like from this line to that line, right? There are 360 degrees in the whole thing. I don't know if I've told you that before. So there's 360 degrees, right? Because we could say that, well, there's a circle, and there's 360 degrees in a circle. 90 degrees is a quarter turn. 180 degrees is a half turn. And then 270 is a 3/4 turn, right? Those are just increments of 90. So looking back at L, whenever we rotate clockwise, we're going to rotate a quarter turn. So L prime is going to be right there. Now for M. The way that I like to do this with graphs is I'm going to count where M is. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to kind of look at this L, or the upside down L there, and I'm going to kind of rotate it in my head 90 degrees, and it's going to look something like that. I guess it's supposed to be 4 units long, so it needs to be like that. And there's going to be my new M. For J, I'll do the same thing. It's down 5 and then right 1. So I'm going to go over 5 and down 1. And then for K, I'm going to go over 3 and down 2. So whenever I rotate that L, it's going to go down 3 and left 2. And now I connect my dots. All right, there we are. Now, while we've got this picture here, I want to look at two of the points. Let's look at M and M prime. M is at, what is that, -3, -4. M prime is at -4, 3. Is that right? Yes. Yes. All right. So think about what happened there. The Y swapped spots. The X here swapped spots and it went negative. So we start off with like X, Y, and then it turns into, what would it turn into? Y negative X. Is that right? Yeah. So if we were to plug that in, our X is -3, our Y is -4, and then when we plug that in, we'd have -4 and then -3. All right. So that would be a good thing to write down. Whenever we rotate 90 degrees, there's our formula. Number 2, 180 degrees about the origin. Well, we already said over here that 180 degrees is a half turn, right? So it doesn't really matter if we're going clockwise or counterclockwise because a half turn clockwise is the same thing as a half turn counterclockwise. Normally, whenever I think about them, I still think about clockwise. I think about it going that way. So let's start off with J. J is like that. If I rotate it one time, it'll be like that. And if I rotate it again, it'll be like that. Now I'm going to erase that because it's starting to look kind of like a weird symbol. So maybe don't write all those down. But that's kind of what we're doing in our head. Down here, K is like this. If I rotate it once, it'll be over here. Will it be right there? Yes. And then if I rotate it again, it'll be up and then over. And there will be my new K prime. For I go over and down, and we rotate once, and it would be kind of vertical, and then again we'd go over here and up there, and here would be our I prime. Lastly, I have H, so I go over and down here. It's over 3, down 3. So whenever I finish up, it should be right there. That's going to be H prime. We can connect our dots, and we'll have our new shape that's rotated. Now, just like last time, I want to make a formula for this. So let's look at, what do we want to look at? Let's look at J. Those would be easy. J is at, actually, let's not do J, because that's a 1, 1. Let's do maybe I. I is at -5, -1. I prime is at 5, 1. So what happened? We started off with our x, y, and it turned into -x, -y, right? They both just changed sign. So when we go 180 degrees, this is our formula. All right, number 3. Number 3, we're talking about counterclockwise now. So counterclockwise means that we're going to be going this direction. -90 degrees is still a quarter turn, even though we're going the wrong direction or the counterclockwise. So D is over and down. Here, let me do that in a different color. Over and down. So now it's going to be down and over, like that. And again, I'm starting to make an ugly symbol. And D prime. E, we can kind of see it rotate and it would go up here. F would be, well, down 4 and over 3, so it's going to be over 4 and up 3. So here's going to be, what is that going to be? F prime. And then C will be right here. So let me rewrite my E prime and my D prime so that they're a little bit easier to draw my picture. All right, that doesn't look quite right, does it? I think it's just my drawing being weird. I think it's good. All right, let's look again at a point. Let's look at point C. So C is at -2, -5. C prime is at 5, -2. So what happens here? We start off with x, y, and it turns into -y, x. Okay. So this is for counterclockwise 90 degrees. We could also say that this is clockwise 270 degrees. I don't know if they actually do 270 degrees. I don't know if we actually need to write that down, but that is a good thing to know. Right? Instead of going this way, 90 degrees, a quarter turn, we could go this way, 3/4 turn, and the same thing would happen. That's what that's writing, or that's what the 270 and the 90 is. All right, number 4. another rotate clockwise. So this one's nice and easy. I'm just going to kind of try to do these kind of in my head. C would turn over to be here. D would go down there. B would end up being over here. And E would end up right here. And there we are. And I believe we've already given the formula for that, haven't we? Yep, it's that original formula. All right, number 5. Now there's two ways that we could do this. We could look at our formulas and do it that way. And you know what? For this first one, I think that's what we'll do. So we have 180 degrees. That's our formula over here in the upper right corner in number 2. So it's xy goes to negative x, negative y. So xy goes to negative x, negative y. So let's write down our new points. F prime will be at negative 2, 3. G prime will be at negative 2, positive 1. And H prime will be at negative 5, 0, right? Negative 0 is just 0. So F prime will be at negative 2, 3. That'll be right there. G prime will be at negative 2, 1, right there. And H prime will be at negative 5, 0. And of course, I put my G prime in the wrong spot. Oops. Well, my letter was in the wrong spot, I meant. And there we are. There's our shape. So we know that our original shape should have been down in that region somewhere, right? Because it was a 180-degree flip. And just to check ourselves, I'm going to plot those 3 points. I'm not going to label them, though. I'm just going to plot them. Oops. This would be F, this would be G, and this would be H. And yeah, it looks like that would be a, yeah, that looks good. All right, number 6, another 180-degree turn. This one I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to do it like what I did some of the previous ones in the previous lessons. I'm going to plot the original, and then I'm going to plot the new one. So U would be at 0, negative 3 down here. 180-degree turn would be up here. T would be at 1, 2. That would be right there. 180-degree turn would be down here. S would be right here. 180 degrees would put it over here. Okay, something seems off. Oh, I put my T in the wrong spot. I'm sorry. T would be down here. And R at 4, negative 5, right here. I rotated 180 degrees. It's going to be up here. Oops. It goes all the way to the edge. There's our shape. It might be a little bit easier to actually do it like what we did in number 5. I don't know which one's easier. Sometimes I like to do the points, and sometimes I like to just kind of work my way through it. Whenever you're doing multiple choice, it might be a little bit easier to do it like I did in number 6. Right? If it's free response, I'd probably do it like I did in number 5. All right, number 7, another 180 degrees. I'm going to do it like what I did in number 5 because it's free response. So F prime should be at 1, 4. G prime should be at 3, 0. H prime should be at 1, negative 1. And I prime will be at negative 1, 2. So F prime at 1, 4. G prime at 3, 0. H prime and I prime. Oops. There we are. Lastly, number 8, rotating 90 degrees counterclockwise. So let's use our formula again. Let's look back up here at what our formula is. It's like in number 3, so we have xy going to negative y, x. So I have xy going to negative y x. So w prime will be, well, the x just goes in the y spot, so I know this will be a negative 5, and then negative y will be a negative 1 right there. V prime will be negative 2, negative 5. U prime will be 1, negative 2, right? It's the negative y, so it was a negative 1, so it'll be a positive. And then t prime will be 3, negative 2. Plotting these, I'll have a w prime there, a v prime there, u prime will be at 1, negative 2 right there, and t prime will be at 3, negative 2 right there. Let me change this. All right, just to check this one, I'm going to plot the original ones. I'm not going to label them though. So negative 5, 1, negative 5, 2, negative 2, negative 1, oops, and negative 2, negative 3. Yeah, that looks good. All right, that's rotations. Make sure that you have those formulas down. I think there's 3 unique formulas that we have. I don't think I wrote it here, but 90 degrees clockwise, we could also say this is 270 degrees counter, right? Kind of like what I did in number 3, where I talked about the clockwise 270 versus the 90 degrees counterclockwise. You can do that with the other one as well. Those are good formulas to have. You're able to just kind of work your way through them if they're graphs, but I think the formulas are very useful. So, all right, email me if you have any questions.